how did you end up in a room with Vincent
Oh,
Kennedy McMahon?
that's a great question. I hope it's an entertaining story. But I began my career at NBC. I think that's one thing that helped me coming to the WWF at the time was that I brought a real sports mentality to it. Yes, superstars are great athletes, but I was working with the Michael Jordans, the Magic Johnsons, the Don Mattingly's in baseball, just, like superstars in their respective sports. And John Filippelli, who's a producer there, became the executive producer at WWF, the job that Kevin Dunn held for over 30 years. So John Filippelli, I'm going to make this part of the story short, but it was like 6 weeks back and forth. I said I didn't want to go, and he said, just go up and meet Vince. So Derek, my first time meeting Vince, I will never forget this. I go up to Stanford. I have no intention of joining the WWF at the time. I just wanted some respect back from NBC Sports that I was being courted by somebody else. It wasn't about the money, it's about the respect. They were offering me twice as much of what I was getting paying. But I walk into Vince's office and he's wearing this gaudy sweatsuit that's like zebra striped, black and white, top bottom with the red t-shirt underneath. And he's playing with a car, an electronic car, and he's cracking into like walls and he's laughing. He turns around and sees me. He's like, David Sahadi, so good to finally meet you in person. I heard a lot about you. And he shook my hand. And if anybody can imagine Vince being the most charming, nicest guy, I got the charm offensive that day. We sat in his office for 30 minutes and Vince did most of the talking. John Filippelli said, Vince, you make this job sound so great. I want it. And I barely said anything because here I was going up there from New York City with no intention of joining. As I'm listening to Vince give me his speech, I'm like, wow, you know what? This sounds like a fun place to work because that's one word Vince used. He goes, it's fun working here. We have a lot of fun. And I just saw this boss that was so casual, potential boss at the time, and just like so fun and so effusive with this praise for me. I'm just like, I kind of like this guy. I know there are a lot of haters of Vince, but at this point, I'm like, I like this guy a lot. And, it's just, that's what made me go up there. It was Vince's charisma and his charm. And
Well, if you could,
it was nice to me at first. He was really great.
when you think about the way Vince handles himself
Mhm.
before you're an employee and then after you're an employee,
Yeah.
he's a salesman through and through. He's going to convince you to do what he wants you to do. What was your first bump in the road?
Oh, how about 3 weeks in?
Oh,
It's in my book that's coming out in January, Backstage Pass. This is not the actual
yes.
cover. That's me doing that. But 3 weeks in. So John Filippelli hired me. John Filippelli is there. Um, I'm instructed to do the first ever opening for Raw. And I'm there on my first day in New York City, 3 weeks in. I get a call from Kevin Dunn. And he goes, David, Flip, gone. Kevin has a list. I'm not going to make fun about that. But he went down this whole list of all these NBC employees that were gone, that got fired that day. And to me, it felt like a coup. And Kevin Dunn ended the phone conversation by saying, if it was up to me, your NBC ass would be gone too. But Vince likes you, so this Raw opening better be good or your ass is gone. And he hung up the phone, and I'm like, wow. I mean, can I get my job at NBC back? It's like, this sounds pretty, ominous and threatening. So, Derek, I'll tell you the story when he came to show Vince he opened about 2 weeks later, where he summoned down to edit one. Kevin Dunn tells me to put up on a tape. And remember, nobody now that I know from NBC Sports is there. I'm the
Right.
last one and the last hire. And they purposely, I think, wanted to sabotage me because the audio was very low and the screen was very dim. And in the room present were Kevin Dunn, current Sylphie's the director, the lead editor, Kevin Quinn, the lead audio engineer, Larry somebody, I forget his name, two top producers, Pat Patterson, Bruce Pritchard. And I'm just like, damn, and I could see that Vince wasn't in a good mood for some reason. It was a Sunday, I forget why we were there, but it was a Sunday, but Vince goes, all right, is it up there? And I said, yes. And he goes, play it. And we play it. It's about 23 seconds long. And when it's done, it goes to black, silence, and Vince is like this. For 30 seconds. Then he looks up. Silence for 30 seconds. Nobody says anything. He turns around. He walks back to the coffee machine, pours a cup of coffee, takes one packet of sweet and low. And there's 5 minutes there. It feels like 30 minutes,
Oh, I'm sure.
Puts it in there again, puts it in there again, stirs it. And I'm like, yeah, he hates it. I'm probably gone. Goes back up there, plays it again, and it's over. And again, 1 minute, looking up, looking down, silence. And he goes, whoa, what do you guys think? And Bruce Pritchard, thank you, Bruce, says, well, I kind of like it. It's different. And Kevin Dunn goes, yeah, it's different color scheme that we never used. And somebody says, oh, that music is awesome with the sirens at the end. And Vince's like, okay, go with it. So once that moment happened, I became Vince's golden boy. I really never got abuse from Vince except for a couple of occasions that we can talk about later. But Vince always treated me like the son that he never had. And I felt privileged by getting this preferential treatment. I could almost do no wrong in his eyes. So I didn't see that much of Vince being the wacko boss that'd berate me or tear me down. If anything, he did the opposite. I saw him do that with other people constantly, but I was blessed, and I'm grateful for that. When I first got there, Vince always said to everybody that the two most important things are talent and TV, television and talent. They were intertwined. You couldn't have one without the other. Talent was great on TV, but TV also made talent. We built them up with vignettes. We built them up with storylines. So they went hand in hand. There's a reason why you never see a credit on a wrestling show, and that's because Vince did not want people to know who was producing that show and who was directing that show, who cut these packages, because Vince didn't want the networks to steal them. Actually, he stole me from NBC. And one thing Vince did, I mean, it's brilliant. He paid everybody that worked there in production twice the normal going rate. So would Vince believe that talent was just as important as TV to somebody like a Kevin Dunn, who is despicable and despised by so many people, and understandably so? Does he not belong in the Hall of Fame? Because for over 3 decades, he helped guide Vince. He stopped Vince from making some really bad decisions and executing some really bad ideas. He was the producer of all those live shows for over 30 years. How about Kerwin Silke as a director? Or let's go up to WCW, Keith Mitchell. He was there during the Monday Night Raws producing the show. He went to TNA in 2002 after he told WWE, boom, I'm not going to go to you. And he helped Jeff Jarrett start TNA. And then he was taken away by Tony Khan. Tony Khan called Keith Mitchell and asked him to come to AEW and help lead the production team. And Keith Mitchell did. I mean, to me, those guys are the Mount Rushmore production. You can throw in package editors like Chris Chambers, Adam Panucci, myself as well. But I'm just saying that there are certain people I think should be recognized for what they did, because they never were while we were doing that, which is fine by us. But it's just like, I mean, yeah, Kevin Dunn should be in the Hall of Fame.